So in this video, I wanted to take a quick look at the Montblanc M Ultra Black Rollerball. I'm not a big user of Montblancs or expensive pens for that matter, but I recently bought this pen, bought it used, got what I think to be a good deal on it, so I wanted to show it to everyone. Been using it for a few weeks now. So the Montblanc makes the M line, and that's their collaboration with Mark Newson, who's a designer, I guess. And they released these a few years ago in the standard M, which has a resin body like this one, but it's a gloss black. This one is matte black. You could see it's more matte than the gloss, but it's not a full matte black. So that's about the main summary of it. Retail price is $400, so it's not at all cheap. If you buy them used, you can get it for less than that, but you have to be super careful because there are a lot of fakes out there. If you see like buy it now $50, it's not real. So don't look for a deal too hard because you could get burned. So here's the pen. Like I said, resin body, rollerball, metal clip, the Montblanc snow cap or starflake or snowflake or whatever it is. I think it's supposed to be like the mountaintop there. The M series has two sort of definitional qualities, at least to me. One is this carved out end piece here, as you can see in profile. It goes down, it's flat, and then has the little logo there. And the second is that it's magnetic, and it's a magnetic closure. So theoretically, you would just put it back, and it closes on its own. It is a snap to shut, but the magnet is strong enough to snap it itself. So other things on Montblanc's website that they point out is that it's black precious sandblasted resin. That's the body. I think it just means fancy plastic, but that's what they call it. The little pop of orange here, that's a signature of the M in the ultra black, in the matte black finish. And apparently that's Mark Newson's signature color. I'm not sure if he does a bunch of stuff in orange or not. I haven't investigated. And then I think that's really about it from Montblanc's website. Looking at the pen more closely, we can see there's the cap. Nice cap. Nothing too special about it. And then here's the pen body. It's a little bit on the short side, a little bit on the stocky side, but usually you want some width if you're buying a nice pen. The front is metal. I'm not sure what metal it is, but it's very nicely done. It's got these carved lines for these grooves in it. Nice cone area. This section piece is a little bit small for me. You're holding often here, but you'll feel this little ridge, and that ridge is more drastic than I would have expected, but it looks very cool, and it's not at all an uncomfortable pen. It's really nicely balanced. Again, a little bit short, a little bit small, but not terrible at all. You can post some of these, and it doesn't post well though. It just stays because the magnet holds it shut. I've heard that that's not the case with all of them. Some of them will not be magnetized at the top, but that's just what I read online. This one definitely does stay, but it's not a great fit. You could see that it's on there pretty well, but I don't think I'd really write with it like this. So it's not a pen you would use posted, but you could. I just want to zoom in on the body to the extent that we can, and you could see that it is not just like a molded plastic or something like that, injection molded plastic. It definitely seems like it was carved out. There's a very subtle texture here. Maybe it seems like it's from some sort of CNC operation, but I don't know specifically how the pens are made, but there's definitely a very subtle texture to it that you could see more than you could feel. And it's just quite cool. It's like one of those things where it makes it seem like, okay, someone put a lot of work into this. Probably not $400 worth of work, but like definitely more work than in your standard $30 or $40 pen. And then The material is not super tough, and I think that is characteristic of most Montblanc pens. I've definitely, again, I bought it used, so some of this came before I got it, but there's definitely a couple little Mars here. I think I saw one over here before. Yeah, right there. And that's just from sort of day-to-day use. It's just, at the end of the day, it's really just adding some character to the pen, but it is always a little bit of a bummer to see those accumulate. The matte black is definitely a fingerprint magnet. My hands right now are clean, but if you were to touch something oily or touch your face or something and then touch the pen and the pen was clean, you would see the fingerprints accumulate. So keep that in mind if you're choosing between the gloss and the ultra black models. The ultra black is definitely a fingerprint magnet. Opening the pen up, this piece unscrews and you can see more of that orange there. It doesn't serve any function, it's just kind of cool, I guess. I'd actually prefer it to be the black. I don't need the orange personally. I almost didn't buy the pen because of the orange, but it's not that big of a deal to me. And I mulled over this pen for like, I don't know, 2 years before I picked one up. Anyway, so there's the front section, metal, it goes down to the plastic. There's a spring inside there. I haven't taken it out yet. The pen uses a Montblanc clipless refill. Sorry, capless refill, sorry. So that's the shorter of the Montblancs. In this case, I have a Schmidt capless refill in there. This is a P126. That is the thinner, the 0.6 millimeter. So it's kind of like the Schmidt fine. And this is a really nice refill. It just writes great. And the fact that you can get a Schmidt P refill in here perfectly is, I think, a great reason to buy this pen. Again, you could swap this for standard Montblanc capless refill. Just keep that in mind. You can't fit a standard Montblanc Rollerball refill, and you definitely cannot fit a Montblanc Legrand refill, which is that really big one. Inside, we could see some more orange, and that's it. This pops in back, and it's a really snug fit. You can see it actually stays in there, and that's sort of, I guess, part of Montblanc's tolerances. Just like there's some nice features like that. It actually uses that little stepped piece at the back of the refill, so you don't need a spring at the back, and then also just it fits really well. Then you close this. It's a secure closure, and just really nice alignment there. Personally, I might cut this down a millimeter just so this looks a little bit shorter. I tend to like how it looks shorter, but that's just me. And then the cap. So sometimes it won't close all the way, and then you just squeeze it and it'll close. But the rest of the time you just put it on and it'll close on its own. And we'll see what that looks like. And the deal is that the clip lines up with the flat edge here. So if you try to put it back like this, you could feel it does not want to go, and it'll sort of go on a little cockeyed, or it'll just turn itself. See, it does not want to go. And then when it lines up, there you go. Unassisted, I'm not sure what will happen. Yeah, it just sort of doesn't go on its own, but unassisted, yeah, it's not working out so well. Anyway, there you go. You can see it's not quite self-writing. Writing as in like writing like a boat writes itself, not writing like a pen writes itself. So it's not quite self-writing, but it's close enough. And again, this is with the Schmidt refill, so don't take this too seriously because yours would probably use a Montblanc refill, but here it is. This is the Montblanc, I always forget if it's one word or two, M Ultra Black. Again, that's the matte black. I don't have it in gloss, so I couldn't really tell you what that looks like, but the gloss is nice too. And this is the Rollerball. I can't spell today. It's also sold in a fountain pen and a ballpoint. I haven't used. I've held both of those, but I haven't used them. I think the ballpoint is actually the same pen, just with a different refill, but if you're buying, you should do more research than just my guess. The fountain pen sells for a little bit more. It's quite nice looking. I think it's more like 600 retail. I'm not really interested in that. I really wanted a rollerball, so I wanted to get something I could use pretty much every day. Again, and this is with the Schmidt P8126, which is a fine, really well-behaved fine ink. I think it's a 0.6 millimeter. I tend to use the 8127 or the 8120, which are larger, but when I use the 8126, I really do appreciate how well behaved it is. Again, this is the ultra black. So I think that about covers all the high points there. I like this pen. I think it is just a really handsome pen and has some nice features. It's comfortable. It looks great on your desk. The clip works well. The resin is just beautiful. And all that stuff, Montblanc really held up their end of the bargain there. $400 for this thing is, I gotta say, a little bit crazy. It's definitely has some shortcomings, like the fingerprint magnet. The seam is, I would say they did a like a B+ job out here. This I feel like could be smaller. Sometimes the magnet I don't feel like is as well behaved as it could. I don't think that orange is as cool as Montblanc might think. And then it does pick up some scratches, nothing bad, but the resin isn't as tough as you might think. But again, look at that detail on the body. You could see the sort of subtle lines there. I think that's very cool. There you go, you can see it right there. So I don't know if this was a great deal. The value is probably just not good, especially compared to the pens we normally look at this channel that cap out at like, $20. So those are where you go for value. This is where you go, wish you had a great year because you're celebrating something, you're graduated from something. But nice pen, interesting pen. Glad I picked it up. It is the most expensive pen in my collection by a long shot, I would say, right now, just because I've shed all my expensive pens. So it's cool to have, but it does feel like a little bit of a liability walking around with. So it's a Montblanc M Ultra Black Rollerball pen. Thanks for watching.